is intended for first graders. It contains 2 lessons. Each lesson has 2 days in it, or you can actually break up the second lesson into 5 or 6 days long. Lesson 1, day 1, the objective is for students to relate to the message of advertisements. So the teacher will begin a discussion with students about different advertisements that we see on TV. I would like to start by telling a brief story about watching television and the thoughts as an advertisement was shown. I might say a story like this. I was watching TV last night and there was a commercial that came on in between shows. In this commercial, it showed a beautiful new shiny red car driving through New York City. This car had all the new technology like wireless device charging, big televisions in the back seat massages in the car seats, and it had a sunroof that was as big as the roof of the car. As the car was driving through New York City, I started to think to myself, wow, I wish I had a car like this. My car doesn't have any of those cool features. I don't think I need a new car, but I would really like to buy that one. And after that story, I would ask the students if they've ever seen a commercial on TV that made them want to get something new. And the reason why I am talking about this with my students is I want them to recognize the way that they react to these kinds of advertisements in the media. And then I'll actually tell my students over here for my second question or a topic is I'll tell my students that the purpose of an advertisement is to let people know about something new that's being sold. It's to tell people about a new attraction to visit or even about a food to eat at different restaurants. The way that we feel after watching these commercials, wanting something new, is the way that a lot of people feel. The people who make these commercials, they want people to buy their new project. And then I would say that the next day we're going to actually apply this and we're going to watch an advertisement. So for lesson 1, day 2, the objective is that students will relate to the message of advertisements by watching an advertisement and identifying how it makes them feel. This is a link that brings us to a Disney Plus advertisement. It's very quick. It's probably something that they've actually seen before. And the purpose of this advertisement is, of course, to subscribe to Disney Plus streaming service. So after watching this as a class, these are some of the questions and topics that I would bring up to my students. I would say, how did this video make you feel? What do you want to buy after watching this commercial? What did they show in the video to make you want to buy Disney Plus? What do they need to show in the video to make you want to buy Disney Plus? Do you need a new streaming service? Which one do you already have? And I'd list a few just in case they didn't know what a streaming service was. The purpose of this is to help my students understand that the goal of the people who made this commercial is to get its viewers to buy whatever they are selling. And after we watch them, we feel like we need to get something new, but we need to stay smart. We usually don't need to buy anything that we see on TV. And the purpose of saying this part is to make them understand and be aware of being critical as we're looking at any literacy in the media. Lesson 2, day 1. So this lesson 2, day 1, could be broken up into actually 3 different sections according to the different NAMLE question strategies. So looking down here, it could be broken into 3, or depending on your group, like I think with my group right now, I could tackle all 3 in one day. But if you have a lower group, or if maybe you're in the beginning of the year, you may want to break it up. So the objective of this lesson is for students to apply these questions to the source of media. By doing this, students will build their knowledge of media literacy. So I would start the lesson by having a brief conversation about any commercials that maybe they had saw at home last night while watching TV when they're on their device. And when students talk about the commercial, I'd ask a few of these questions to build on their foundations of today's objective. So I might ask them, what is the story about? What did the commercial want its watchers to do? Did they want you to buy something or go somewhere? What do you think about as you watch these commercials? Did you want to buy the item or go to the place? Did the commercial make you feel like you needed the item, or did it make you feel as though the things that you had weren't good enough? And these questions are meant to prepare students for the next NAMLE questions. My instruction as a teacher would be to tell students that the commercials and advertisements we see are designed for us to want to buy something or to go somewhere. And it's important for us to remember the reason why we are seeing the advertisement and the true meaning that it's sending, and the true content of the message. Again, building that media literacy is very important right here, so they understand that we are in control of the way that we feel after seeing these pieces of advertising and media in any context. Then the teacher will present these questions to students, and these questions have been chosen and adapted based off of the appropriateness for first graders. I broke it up into these sections and I added them in different colors for a certain reason. I'll show you in a moment. First, I talked about the authors and audiences, who made this, why was this made, what does it want me to do, why does the storyteller want me to remember, and the messages and meanings of the content. What does it want me to think? How might different people understand this message? And then representations in reality. So when was this made? Was it recent? Was it a long time ago? Is it credible? Is this a fact, an opinion, or is it something else? And what was left out from this advertisement, which is really important because there were some very important things left out of here in the Disney Plus advertisement video. And afterwards, we would discuss the video and talk about the different questions with the students. So again, this could be done in 3 lessons, or it could be done all in 1 or 2, depending on teacher discretion. Based off of the answers, the teacher will make sure the students are building their knowledge of realizing the true meaning behind the video. Because if they're not thinking smarter about the video and they're just believing in the advertisement, that means that they're not building their literacy, and maybe we need to take a step back and revisit it again. So these are some things to keep in mind, some hit home topics, that we don't need Disney Plus to watch these movies and TV shows. You probably already have a streaming service to watch these movies. You don't need Disney Plus. There are movies and shows that you enjoy that actually aren't on Disney Plus. Maybe it's not the best streaming service. And then something else to realize is that the video is missing its monthly price, and it doesn't compare its prices to other services. So maybe it's really expensive and it's not worth the money. So that's something to keep in mind. Is this really expensive? Is it cheaper than the one that I have now? Maybe it is cheaper than the one I have now. Maybe I want to switch. Things like that. It doesn't have that in the video at all. And then for the second part of this lesson, the day 2 or the day 5 or 6, however you want to split it up, the objective is for students to apply these questions to their answers in a graphic organizer. I always say if my students can't apply what I just taught, then they actually don't understand it at all. So the class will watch the advertisement one more time. We'll talk about the questions one more time. And of course, these questions will be written on an anchor chart, so all of my students can see it and read it and refer back to it as they're working in groups. For an activity to do, using this graphic organizer, they will write down their perceptions of media literacy and the terms. First, they'll focus on the author and audiences, then we'll focus on the message and meanings, and then the representations and reality. That's why it was color-coded up here. That way my students can apply the colors also, just for memory. And over here, with their table groups, they would write down their thoughts of the Disney Plus advertisement by answering the questions in the correct category box. So they would be able to look back at these questions and answer them down below. And something that makes this, a way that they might answer it, I put some examples down here of my expectations for my students. And if they answer it this way, then I know that they're able to think critically about media. So lesson 2, day 2 would be them just working on it. And then day 3 would be when students present their thoughts on the advertisement with the whole class. So the activity would each group would share their criticisms of the media and see if groups may have similar or different ideas. So I thought something appropriate for the author and audiences questions, a response would be, this video was made by the owners of Disney. This video was made to persuade people to subscribe to Disney Plus. The storyteller wants me to remember all of the great movies and videos that I can watch on Disney Plus. Those absolutely answer the questions up here, answering who made this, why was this made, and what does it want me to do, and what does the storyteller want me to remember. Then while I'm here, I'll just go over these different questions for messages and meetings. What does this want me to think? How might different people understand this message? I thought that this would be appropriate for a first grader's response. This video wants me to think that I need to subscribe to Disney Plus in order to watch these great movies and shows. If I don't subscribe, then they want me to think that I will not have the chance to ever see them. Someone else might understand its advertisement by thinking that the streaming service that they have is not good and that Disney Plus is the best streaming service. And then finally, representations of reality. Those questions were, when was this made, is this fact or opinion, and what's left out from the advertisement? And I thought that if a student wrote this response that they would are fully understanding the objective. So I would say that this was made in the year 2020. This video contains a lot of opinions, and it says that it has the best movies. It has everyone's favorite shows, and those are not facts. The facts are the different shows and movies and Disney Plus provides. They do provide them. And what was left out was the price of the service per month, and we are not able to see their prices. So this would be my assessment as well for me to know if my students truly did understand what it means to be literate in media, or does it mean that I have to revisit some of the previous activities and reinforce the different objectives. Thanks.